Hi guys, welcome to Yin Yoga tonight. We are going to explore a little bit of heart opening. Um, as always, remember that this is your practice and your space, so feel free to take care of yourself and just do what aligns with what you need from your practice today. If something we're working on simply doesn't feel right or is causing a pain sensation, just let it go. Remember, it's really not that big of a deal. We're just simply exploring our bodies and taking a few deep breaths and trying to settle down. With all of that being said, we're going to start today in a comfortable seated position. So any comfy seat of your choice, cross-legged, or if you'd rather sit on your heels, or if you'd simply even rather lie down, right? Just find any comfy seat that you like. Then we're going to allow the hands to rest down onto the knees or thighs. You can close your eyes or just soften the gaze down the tip of the nose. Just begin to simply welcome yourself exactly where you are. Perhaps notice the space that you occupy. And what that space feels like. You may feel tension sitting across the face and through the shoulders or down through the hips. You may notice more mental or emotional sensations, perhaps feelings of anxiety or scatteredness, or maybe calmness and peace. Whatever it is you're feeling, just simply feel the way you feel for a second without trying to change it or judge it. And just take a breath with that. And just beginning to slow the breathing down a bit. And seeing how carefully we can watch each inhale as it flows in and each exhale as it flows out. If you need an auditory element to help keep your attention on your breath, you can always find a little whisper of your breath. It's this soft, soothing whisper of a sound, almost sounds like ocean waves rolling on the shore. We'll begin our practice today with Nadi Shodhana, our alternate nostril breathing. So you'll bring your right hand right in front of your face. Bring your index finger and your middle finger, drop it down to your palm. So all you're left with is your thumb, your ring finger, and your pinky finger. Now your thumb's going to be for your right nostril, your ring finger for your left nostril. If for any reason this breathing practice doesn't work for you, let it go. Just find a few steady breaths. If my count or my cadence is too fast or slow, find your own rhythm, right? For right now, take an inhale and a nice deep exhale. Close the right nostril with the ring finger or with the thumb. Inhale into the left. And then you'll close your left nostril with your ring finger, exhaling out of your right nostril. Inhale into the right. Close the right nostril with the thumb, exhaling out of the left. Inhale left. Close the left nostril, exhale right. Inhale right. Close the right, exhale left. Inhale left. Close the left, exhale out of the right. Finding softness across the brow, across the shoulders, and down into the hips. Inhale right. Close the right nostril, exhale left. Inhale left. Close the left nostril, exhale right. Inhale right. Close the right nostril, exhale left for the last time. And go ahead and release your right hand back down towards your knee or thigh. Taking a few steady breaths through both nostrils. If the eyes have been closed, gently flutter the eyes open. From here, we'll move forward onto the hands and the knees. So however is best for you to get there, whatever seated position you've been hanging out in. We're just going to find our way towards the tabletop position. Once you find your way towards tabletop, hands just underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Make sure the knees and feet are about hip distance here, not too wide, not too close. We're going to go ahead and go straight into a melting heart pose. So walking the arms forward, sometimes known as a puppy pose. We're going to allow the forearms to rest down and then allow the forehead to rest down as well. And following the name of the posture, this is a melting heart pose. So we're going to start to feel the heart really, truly just sink down and in towards the floor. And this can be pretty intense on the shoulders or the arms. If you feel any tingling whatsoever in the arms, you can widen the arms and bend the elbows a little bit. If it's still too intense, maybe think about bringing a pillow or a block or something right underneath the chest for a little added support. We'll be here for a couple minutes, so we're just going to take our time to get settled in. Maybe following those soundful breaths again. And see if with every exhale, you can almost feel the lower ribs just drop a little closer towards the earth. Maybe you feel a little tension wrapping around the shoulders. See if you can relax there. Maybe the thighs or the belly are holding tension. Soften where you can. We're just taking 10 more breaths. On your next inhale, gently begin to press your way up to your forearms. Take your time with this transition as we start to shift forward and then come to lie down onto the belly. So you can readjust yourself on your mat however you need to. Once we get to the belly, we're going straight into our Sphinx pose. So the tops of the feet are just gently relaxing on the floor. You can widen the feet to assist the low back as needed. Elbows right underneath the lines of the shoulders. A little lift through the crown of the head. And see if we can find a little extra broadness across the chest here. And this is not any kind of forceful or super active position. We have the support of the arms here, but we're doing our very best just to relax anywhere that we can. So soften the thigh, soften the glutes. Again, relax across the muscles of the face. Those tiny little muscles through the face, around the ears and jawline, can tend to be very sneaky and holding just this subtle tension. If you're comfortable as you are, always remember you can stay exactly as you are, but if for any reason this posture is just a little bit too intense, you can always kind of scoot your elbows a little bit further out, decreasing that extension in the spine. If you have a bolster or a pillow handy, you can just bring it right underneath your face and rest yourself down. So just the most subtle, gentle variation. And continue this journey of just following the breath, listening to what kind of story it has to tell us from breath to breath. Maybe you feel like you're at your edge with this posture. Please just kind of check in with your spine, see how your spine is doing all the way from low back to upper back into the neck. If the spine feels like it could take a little bit more and perhaps it wants to, you can widen the feet a little bit more. Pivot the hands out to each corner of the mat. Start to straighten your arms coming into a seal pose. Now, as you come into your seal pose, relax the hips down into the floor. Feel the chest gently, very softly pull forward. And you can either lean the head back just a little bit, finding a little more expansion along the throat, or you can collapse the rib cage down between the arms, let the head just hang heavy, finding a little bit of space along the two long muscles that run along either side of the spine. So feel free to try both, see what works for you. We're only going to be here for about 10 or 15 breaths, so not too long. One more inhale here. As you exhale, nice and slow, we're going to release the chest all the way back down, super duper slow, allowing the spine to release one piece at a time. You can either make a little pillow with your hands and rest your head down onto your hands, Or you can release your hands down by your side and rest on one side of the face, whatever is most comfortable for you. We're just going to hang out in this nice prone position just to let the spine kind of neutralize. Notice any fascinating sensations that might be happening along the vertebrae. And then from here, starting off on our left side, which is our yin side, we're going to extend the left hand directly away from the left shoulder. So the left arm is about 90 degrees away from the body. Then we're going to bring the right hand down by the right side of the rib cage. Give yourself a little push into the right hand so that you roll over onto your left side. Now the legs can just kind of hang out as they are. You're also welcome to bend the right knee and let the right thigh just kind of open up. The head can just rest down into the floor. If it feels like too much on the neck, grab a pillow, grab a block, add some extra support for the head here. Other options include, you can bring your right hand back behind you, kind of just drape it back there. You can even bind hands behind your back if that's in your practice. If you want a little bit more expansion out of the hips, you can bring your left leg into a half lotus pose. So you'd end up bending your left knee, scooping the left foot into the right thigh, and letting that left thigh kind of open up here. Do not force this. Please pay attention to your knee and ankle and hip response. Let it go if it's not there today. We'll be here for at least 20 breaths. Notice how your left arm, your left bicep, your left shoulder are responding to this space. You might feel a little tension at first as you first got into the posture, but after a while, just naturally, it'll begin to soften. In the meantime, just focus on your breath. Allow yourself to just study the experience of letting go. If the right hand is draped back behind you, we're going to gently begin to release it forward. If the left foot is in that half lotus position, slowly unwind that left leg so it extends back straight. The right hand comes down right in front of you. We're going to roll our way back to the belly. Your time. Let both arms just drop down by the side, resting on one side of the face. This is an excellent opportunity to just kind of notice how the body responded to the pose. You might feel some sensations through the entire left arm or left shoulder. Notice how intense those sensations may be at first and how they start to just kind of settle in. And then taking this into the other side, left hand drops right on the outer edge of the rib cage. Right hand reaches out and away from the right shoulder. So again, that right arm is 90 degrees away from the body, palm of the hand facing the floor. Give yourself a little push into the left hand, rolling onto the right side. The head is relaxing down. Again, option to take a block or a pillow of some sort to just rest your head onto. Now the legs can stay straight. That may feel most comfortable. Or maybe we bend the left knee and just kind of open up the right thigh. Option to drape the left hand behind the back or bind the hands behind the back. You can always bend the left elbow and just kind of let it rest back behind you. And then, of course, you have that option to bring the right foot into half lotus. Don't ever feel pressured to force yourself into any specific position. This is not that kind of practice. Most yoga practices are not like that either. We're just kind of going to feel the space that we're in and just honor where we are. This side might feel completely different than the other side did. That is very natural. Every single person is has an asymmetrical body, right? So one side's going to feel different. That's okay. Just notice any slight differences that you feel. You might feel more comfortable on this side. You might feel that the side is a little tighter. That's okay. Let everything just kind of take its own good time to release. Let yourself notice how you feel now at the end of the pose, if anything feels different than when we first got started in this side. And then if the left arm is back behind you, gently release it. If the right leg is in that half lotus position, slowly let it go. Send it out straight. Left hand right in front of the chest. We're going to use it to help control the release back to the belly. Both arms draped down beside you. And just rest on the opposite side of the face this time. And as you feel the right arm begin to settle down from all those fun sensations, we're going to bring both hands down by the rib cage, push the hands into the floor, rise up to hands and knees, and gently begin to glide back into a nice wide-kneed child's pose. So the knees will go about as wide as the mat, big toes together, and the hips drop back to the heels. So you can settle into this with no props at all. If you have maybe some pillows or a bolster, you're welcome to place it right underneath your chest long ways. Otherwise, we'll extend the arms forward, forehead relaxing down, and just allow the spine to kind of decompress using gravity to just soften the spine out of the space of the hips. And as a way to really pull yourself into the physical body, just notice how it feels to let the forehead rest down. Maybe noticing the texture of the mat beneath your fingers and the weight of gravity on your hips and thighs, pressing down into the shins. You may feel the breath kind of wrapping around the shoulder blades and down through the lats and down along the triceps. If you want a little bit more out of that space, you can wiggle the forearms all the way together. Bring the palms together as in a prayer position. Maybe that feels like enough. Stay there. Or bend your elbows and start to bring your thumbs towards your upper back, just behind the neck. And of course, if that's too much, let it go. I'm just taking about 10 more breaths here. If the hands are back behind the head, gently release the hands right back down. We'll rise up to our hands and knees. Of course, take your time. Notice every joint that shifts and moves as you find your way back up to hands and knees. We'll wiggle the knees back underneath the lines of the hips here and just moving through a few slow cat-cows. So just starting off where the spine has been kind of exploring already, we'll move into cow pose, drop the belly, press the chest forward, exploring any new sensation of the extension of the spine. As you exhale, gently curling into your cat. Inhaling, drop the belly, chest draws slightly forward. This isn't a very active cat-cow, nice and smooth. Just offering some movement to the body. And keep going at your own pace. Just feeling the breath and the movement come together. And we'll come back to a nice and neutral spine. Once you find that neutral spine, we're coming into a pigeon pose, sometimes known as a swan pose, starting off with the left leg. So the left leg is going to reach forward. As we scooch the left leg forward, the left knee is going to be a little bit over to the left, while the left foot kind of starts to align with the right wrist. Then you can tuck the right toe, start to walk the right leg back so that the hips really start to sink in. Now, if you find that your hip is kind of in space and that's where it's at, you can take a blanket or a pillow or a block and place it right underneath the hip for some added support. Once you get settled in, make sure you're not kind of drooping the hips over to one side or squaring the hips slightly forward. For right now, let's just sit up tall for a second. Allow the hips and thighs to just get settled in. Just taking 3 to 5 breaths here, not too long. But just kind of feeling this process going from one space to the next. And then slowly starting to release, if you wish, down to the forearms. Maybe taking a few breaths here, noticing kind of that shift in movement of the pelvis, how the left hip felt about that shift. Perfectly natural to feel like you're holding some tension around the left thigh here. Again, just like everything else, it'll settle in its own good time, but you're also welcome to just remind your left hip and left thigh to just soften and relax. You can stay up on your hands or your forearms as long as you like. You are also perfectly welcome to extend the arms forward, letting yourself just fall to the forehead. We'll be here for quite some time, so please just take your time getting settled in piece by piece. Something that's truly fascinating to observe is what kind of energy the mind starts to build up in each posture. Some postures create a space of serenity and calmness for the mind. Some postures cause the mind to kind of a little fluttery and scattered. What's the mental energy like in this space? Can we train the mind to respond in perhaps in a more equanimous way? Just simply witnessing the process of the posture, of each breath, nothing more. And taking our last 10 breaths. And so if you have been lying forward, arms extended forward, forehead on the mat, gently work your way up to your forearms. If you're on your forearms, start to slowly work your way up to your hands. We'll add in one more element to this pose before we fully get out of it. And you may find that as you sit up nice and straight, that the right hip flexor has enough going on, right? So feel that out. If it does have enough going on, leave it as it is. If the body is up for it, simply bend your right knee. You can reach behind you with your right hand. See if you can find your right ankle or foot. We're only going to be here for 5 to 10 breaths, so it won't be very long, but just try to fully relax in the right foot and right thigh, and continue to relax in your left hip. Once you fully relax in the right hip and right thigh, start to bring your heel a little bit closer so you start to feel the quads start to talk to you, right? We're not pushing, we're not forcing. We're just starting to listen to anything that the tissue around the quad and hip flexor has to say. One piece at a time. Let's take just 3 more breaths here. As always, if this is too much, let it go. And then we're all going to release the right leg down. Both hands drop down so they're nice and firmly planted on the mat. Lift up so you can slide the left leg back. Take your time with this. Once you find hands and knees again, feel free to move through a few cat-cows. Any additional movements that the body needs to kind of wiggle out the left leg and left hip, go for it. Some people like to do a downward facing dog and wiggle it out. That's perfectly okay. Just make sure it's not too powerful, since we're exploring this nice passive relaxing class. And then taking this into the other side, the right leg will come forward. Remember, we want the right knee just behind the right wrist. The right foot's going to go over to the left side of your mat. We'll tuck the left toe, start to walk the left leg back so the hips can sink down and in. Same option as before. Some kind of prop underneath the right hip is a-okay. Find what you need to make this as comfortable as possible so we can hang out here for a few minutes at a time. We'll sit up nice and tall at first, just hanging out for these first few breaths, allowing the hips to get settled in. Just feel gravity just ease into both of your thighs. Remember, we're not leaning over to one side or the other. We're trying to kind of keep the hips in a little bit more of a squared space. As you're ready, dropping on down to the forearms. Feeling that shift in sensation as the pelvis kind of rotated with you. And staying here on the forearms as long as you like until you're ready to lie all the way down, forehead resting down, arms extending forward. And just like we talked about with the upper body, this side will likely feel different than the other side did, whether it's more comfortable or less comfortable. Just let this side be as it needs to be. And again, you might feel that mental shift with the experience of the pose. We're just training ourselves to kind of connect with a deeper sense of awareness with what's going on from moment to moment, not just physically, but mentally, energetically, spiritually, even. And the breath really just helps keep us on track with these passing moments. We have about 10 more breaths on this side. We'll finish off our last deep exhale. If you're lying flat on your face or your arms are extended forward, go ahead, work your way up to your forearms. We're never in any rush to get from one space to the next. When you're on your forearms, we'll work our way up to our hands. And just staying here for a few moments, taking a breath really up and across the front line of the chest. And so same thing, notice how the left hip and left hip flexor feel just about sitting up tall. Maybe there's enough going on there. Maybe it feels okay to bend the left knee, reach your left hand behind you to catch the foot. Don't force it. If it's too much, let it go. Then once you have the foot, relax as much as you can through the left hip, thigh, and ankle and foot. Then once it's nice and relaxed, see if maybe we can bend the left elbow just a little bit more. Just 3 to 5 breaths. Shoulders are relaxed, face is relaxed. Might be the most uncomfortable thing we do our entire class. Great opportunity to just train the mind to find peace and discomfort. And then gently release your left foot down if you're holding it. Hands drop down. We slide the right leg back, finding hands and knees. Once you find hands and knees, same option as before. A few cat-cows just to wiggle out the hips, or if you prefer it, you can always find downward facing dog and wiggle it out from there. All right, your practice, your space. Just be gentle with yourself is all I ask. Let's come around to have a seat. So just nice and easy, you'll sweep your feet around. Extend the legs out in front of you. And then we'll bend the knees, slide the hips to the heels, and then gently release all the way down to the back. Now, once we come to this position, feet are about hip distance, knees are pointed to the ceiling. We'll come into a position called our pond pose, the personal favorite. So the legs will stay exactly as they are. It's not a very intense pose. In fact, it's very subtle, but it can be very intense energetically for the mind. So you're going to hold on to your elbows. So go ahead, bring your arms in front of you, crisscross your forearms, hold on to your elbows, and then bring your forearms up overhead and let the arms just kind of rest up overhead here. You're holding onto your elbows or holding onto your forearms. Feet are planted at hip distance, and we just sit and relax. Just find the breath kind of winding around the lines of the ribs, wrapping around the shoulders and through the underarms. Earlier, we were talking about how our mind kind of responds to each posture. Notice any shifts in your mental energy with this pose. And you find a steady inhale and a steady exhale, and just simply experience. We'll leave the arms as they are. Start to extend the legs out straight. And going straight into a banana pose, opening up the left side. So we're going to wiggle the feet all the way up and over to the right side of your mat. So the feet wiggle to the right. And then the upper body does the same thing. We're going to wiggle the head and the arms up and over to the right as well. If holding on to your forearms or your elbows up overhead is a little too intense, you're welcome to let that go. Maybe hold on to your wrists instead. You can feel comfortable just as you are, or maybe it feels good to cross the left ankle over the right. And we just find softness and stillness here, allowing the breath to just glide along the entire left side of the body. And we'll only be here for about 10 breaths or so, so not too terribly long. And on your next inhale, gently wiggle everything back to center. Maybe the arms stay as they are. You uncross the ankles, wiggle the feet back to center. We'll go ahead and just take it straight into the other side, wiggling the feet up and over to the left. Maybe right ankle crosses over the left. Upper body, meaning the head and the shoulders and the arms, wiggle over to the left as well. And just draw the breath now into the right side. It can be helpful to almost visualize the breath wherever you need it to go. So where do you feel this posture most intensely? Maybe it's around the right shoulder or down the right arm. Maybe it's down to the right hip. Just see your breath glide and travel into those spaces. And taking your last exhale here, we're going to inhale, gently glide back to center. And from here, you can release the arms down by the side, settling into a Shavasana style position. Just relax for a few moments. Notice any energy down the arms and shoulders. Before we get too settled into our Shavasana, let's hug the knees into the chest. You can bring one leg in at a time, wrapping the arms around the legs. Feel free to rock side to side. And then just coming into a twist for a few breaths, let's bring both the knees up and over to the left. As you bring both the knees up and over to the left, we'll extend the right hand away from the right shoulder, letting the head just drape over to look at the right hand. We don't need a whole lot of energy happening in the legs, so it's okay if the legs start to separate a little bit. You can use the left hand to help just kind of maintain a sense of groundedness through the right leg. You can almost guide the inhale up and across the collarbone. And really just feel your exhale settle into the right side, relaxing the right shoulder down into the floor. One more inhale. One more exhale. As you inhale, bring the head and the hips and the knees back to center. Nice and easy. Pick it into the other side. The knees going over to the right. The left arm draping away from the left shoulder. Maybe looking over to the left hand. Feel free to use your right hand to add a little bit of extra grounded support into the left leg. Let the legs just do whatever they need to do here. If they want to separate a little bit, that's fine. One more deep inhale. Last deep exhale. As you inhale, head and hips and knees come back to the center. Give the legs a hug one more time. And maybe rock side to side. And then when you're ready, we're going to release the feet down to the floor. And if you find that the low back is a little tender to lying flat with the legs straight, you can keep the knees at a bend, maybe even let the knees, excuse me, just fall together. If you like to take Shavasana with the legs extended out straight, you can just extend the feet out. Relax the feet away from one another. If you have a bolster or a pillow you want to bring underneath your knees, you can. And then the arms can do anything that feels natural. They can rest by the side in a more traditional style Shavasana. If you prefer that they rest on the belly, or one hand on the heart and one hand on the belly. You want to keep feeling that bit of expansion around the shoulders and the rib cage. The arms can rest up overhead. Just find the most comfortable position you could possibly find yourself in and fully relax in that space. Now, a lot of our practice has been a lot of mental training. And you can even rest from that now. Don't worry about controlling the breath or even focusing the breath. Don't worry about controlling the mind or focusing the mind. Just let yourself, in these next few moments, simply exist with however things are in your external environment and your internal environment. And just simply be with that. When the body feels ready, and it is a-okay if it doesn't feel ready yet, give yourself the time you need to just stay in this restful state. When you do feel ready for movement again, find some soft movements in the fingers and toes. Maybe lightly roll around the wrists and the ankles. You can take a nice long morning stretch, or again, just kind of curl yourself into a small ball. And however is best for you to get to a comfortable seat, you can roll to one side and rest there for a moment, or if it's better for your body, you can rock straight up. Once you find that comfy seat, let the hands rest down onto the knees and thighs, shoulders relax down and back, either closing the eyes or softening the gaze. Just take a few moments and simply feel how you feel now at the end of your practice. We'll bring our hands together to heart center, lightly bowing the chin. Having a closing gratitude or a closing prayer for your practice. I want to thank you all so much for showing up to take care of yourself today. I hope you had a very restful time and continue to have a very restful rest of your day. Thank you.